I do think there are a lot of opportunities and there's some great fields, but there's the likelihood of failure is also super high, and you have to be okay with it. There's been several points in my career where I'm like, fuck it, all in. This could be a magic moment, or this could absolutely destroy it.
I'm ready to jam, dog. On my second cup of coffee. I had a very interesting conversation with a neighbor of mine last night.
Lead it up.
Ari was talking about she wanted to play with the neighbor's kid. So I texted the dad and I was like, hey, can you bring, your daughter over to play with Ari? I was asking. So he came over and super good dude. He helped me build out like some dashboards, like won't even take money, won't accept anything. Like, I'm like, what do you want, dude? Like, what can I do for you? He's like, your friendship. That's what I request in return, man. You're a good neighbor.
Nobody wants to be your friend.
Well, that's another point we'll get to soon. But it's actually part of the top. That's kind of what we're talking about. So it's funny that you say that. But so he came over and the girls were playing outside. And we went inside, and he was talking about wanting to, because everybody knows I'm a moron. I buy a ton of cars and I don't like hide my wealth. So everybody knows how good I'm doing, because everybody knows I'm an entrepreneur and yada, yada, yada. And he's like, I want to get into something. I want to do this. I want to do that. And he was like kind of picking my brain on some things. And I don't know why I responded the way I did, but I kind of told him, it's not for everybody. There's a lot of sacrifice that goes with it. And you see me whipping around on the cool cars and, walking around. And he's like, yeah, but don't you get to spend so much time with your family? I mean, you kind of work on your own terms. And I'm like, you'd think it's that, but it's not. And I'm like, it's very hard for me to be present. And I'm always physically here, but I'm never mentally here. And it's very, very hard for me to, and I told him hey, I was at Dutch Wonderland with the kids. I had my backpack on my back. And I said, hey, I'll be right back. And I had to hop on the computer and do something on a Sunday with my kids. So I'm like, never physically, yeah, I'm there all the time. And from an outsider's perspective, it's great. And I talked about in FitPro and the struggles we went through to get to this point of where I'm at today. But, how tough it was launching a business and launching another business after that, after I just launched a gym business before that, right? But, I was like, it's not what it's all cut out to be, man. And it's great in some aspects, but I just realized that something I'm really struggling with, and you could probably help me do this. I think you're better at doing it than I'm struggling with, just being present sometimes and letting go of work.
Yeah, that's a really interesting conversation. I think it's really important. I don't know if we've talked about it, but right now, entrepreneurship is glorified. Whereas I think when we were growing up, I don't remember, but definitely in the 80s, 90s, people, if you're like, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm starting a business, they'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Whereas now they're like, go do it. It's going to be awesome, because they see the glory, the few that have made it, but
the Instagram highlight reel.
Everybody. Yeah. Now you could probably, as I'm listening to you talk, it's because of the season you're in, because of your desires of where you want to go, you're constantly pushing the envelope, and you're still in a very much a build phase. Whereas one of the things you mentioned, you're like, yeah, with Legion, I mean, that where somebody wants to be. Like for you, if you just had Legion, knowing you'd probably be super involved, even if it was exactly where it is now, but you wouldn't have to be, because that business very much does, you are involved, but you have a great team. They operate it for you. So you could have a lot more of that balance or whatever that, but some people just they see the 10, 15 years of accumulation of nonstop work, all of that. And they just see the outcome, and people like that, but they don't want to do maybe it's because they don't understand really what it takes for a lot of people. Now, I do believe there is balance, and I think it's something they have to achieve. And what is balance and stuff like that, I don't know. Because actually, I was thinking myself personally, I'm very much in a season of growth. And
has your personal life and your emotional state suffered at all because of it?
Oh, 100%. 100%. However, one of the things I'm doing differently now, and I think helps, and probably same for you, is like I do have a very good partner in Z. Like she totally gets it. I can't remember because there's like two funny instances. I think I can't remember what it was, but I think her parents invited us somewhere, and she probably knew it's not what I want to do. She's like, yeah, Bob's not going to go. Whatever. He's like, he's in growth mode, and which is cool. But also, I'm able to talk to her, and she totally gets it. It doesn't mean it's necessarily I don't like 100% screw up because you're always thinking about it. And I know for me, I actually noticed this yesterday, especially seasons like this where it's nonstop. It's all I think about. I'm constantly thinking about, whether it is working. Yes, there's extended actual work going on, but when I'm not, I don't know, working for what better term, I'm thinking about angles. I'm thinking about hooks. I don't necessarily get pulled into fires or anything like that.
I love them. I look for fires.
Yeah, like outside of like I don't know normal time frames. Not saying that there's not going to be instances like that because I don't think your Sunday event is probably a norm. It's more of a one off. You might be thinking, but I think you're always thinking about it. You're like, oh, this is a great idea. Oh, this is going to work. It's like was it 2 nights ago? I sent you that fucking article. I was like, yo, this is fire. Like, check this out. Here's a cool way to we should both test this marketing.
And it's written and in approach. Review, and all the the stuff is
done. Look
done
at that.
for it. Like I have a bunch of creatives done. Awesome. It's already in review.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think I'm really making sense on this point, but I do think that a lot of people see the glory for it, but they also don't to do the sacrifices it takes to get to the next level. And usually it's because we recently got rid of a client. We're like, dude, you're an awesome dude. You say you want these things, but your actions aren't lining up with what your desires are. So until you're ready to make that shift, we can't help you. We'd love to.
But people just don't know what it takes. Like people don't understand how crazy it is.
There's a huge opportunity of failure. I've accepted that. And depending on different levels you get to, there's different levels of what failure truly means. But most people early on aren't willing to risk everything, have to go back, eat fucking ramen noodles, that kind of shit, work nonstop, sacrifice all of their free time, which I believe is probably pretty crucial early on because you have to get obsessed. It's the more obsessed you are, the higher the likelihood the achievement you're going to unlock.
Be obsessed or be average.
Yeah, so it's like most people are willing to do that because they still want to, hey, 5 o'clock once comes around, they want to go get drinks with their friends. They want to do this shit. It's, I remember early on growing Legion, there would be 2, 3 a.m. marketing calls because one of the guys I was working with was in Australia. So I'd be up for an hour or two. We'd be jamming on marketing stuff because it was just nonstop. It was all I thought about. But I know right now, especially like, I think the difficult part with Z a little bit is since I'm always constantly thinking and I'm analyzing certain things or thinking the next step or whatever, honestly, I like to do that in silence a lot. So that's an interesting. So for her, I think the difficult thing is like in a previous season, especially when we first met, it was more of we talked about it on a previous episode, but it was more like personal growth, deepening that relationship. I spent so much time on business, but not enough on other aspects of life. So I was very, very present there, but now I'm very, very present. Yes, I want to be a great father. Yes, I want to be a great partner, but I'm growing businesses. And that's where my attention is, but we're on the same page. We communicate about what the vision is. So we're on the same page, completely on board, but even last night, as we got into bed, I was like, I realized that a lot of times, like, I just like to be silent and I'm just thinking and I'm working through stuff because, there's lots of times where I just don't like to talk anyway.
I can't sit in my silence, and I should. And one thing Taylor said on the call yesterday, me and Bob were on a 7-8 figure entrepreneur, like small group, like a mastermind type of deal.
Boardroom style call.
He said like his most powerful superpower is like his thinking power, where he was saying something about being quiet. I hide from like quiet time anymore. Like as soon as it's as soon as like I'm done work, I have to do something else. I have to stay busy. I have to keep my mind occupied. I just can't because I have too many things going on. I can't like relax at night. I have to watch like a YouTube video or something when I'm in bed or like read something. Like my mind has to be going because it's like there's too much stuff to think about and I'll start thinking about it and I'll lose my mind. I have to like put something in front of my brain and like pacify me and knock me out. It's crazy. And I used to like meditate all the time. It used to be good, but like I just think I'm like so consumed, man. Like I said to Aria last time I was giving her a bath and I said, hey, I want to tell you something. I was like, I'm sorry I didn't pay you much attention today. Love you. You're so special. And, talk to her for a little bit and decompress for like 30 minutes. But dude, I'm so consumed with everything. It's either, and I just never have time. It's either like Legion or Case Connect or like, it's a lot, man. And I was like thinking when I saw my neighbor, I'm like, dude, you don't want this, dog. I was like, you don't want this. It's cool. But you don't want this, man. The cars
Do you
are
enjoy
cool.
it?
Yes. And the scariest part is that I had my birthday was Wednesday and I had my family over and then we had a surprise party Saturday and all the Case Connect, Alina and Tyler organized flying all the Case Connect team in from all over the country and did a surprise dinner for me at Eddie V's. It was really nice and walking in there and I saw them. It was a really good moment. And
Yeah, John told me, he's like, I saw Angela's.
Yeah.
You're probably like, fuck.
I actually said to Lena, I was like, I wish you would have just not let me drive the car there because I don't want to like. I'm not like the flaunty person. I'm actually probably going to ask them to edit it out what kind of car it is, like because I don't want people to know that shit, right? And I was like, damn,
put a
now the
bleep
employees
over that,
right? But it's like I don't want to like to be showboaty, and I think that human beings don't have your best interest in mind, and people don't want to see you grow, and jealousy just comes from you doing well. And I'm a firm believer, and I've seen that time and time again. I know we have different stance on that, but I said the same. Say this. It was I didn't want them to show off, but I think they took it as inspiration. We gave a speech at the end of the night, and they kind of like saw where they were at, where they've come now, where they can go to, and I think we have a really really close knit community. But I said to say this like we had the family party Wednesday, and we had a work party, for our term Saturday. I enjoyed the work party because we talked a lot about work and ads and stuff that was with business. And it's just like sad that like that's what I find joy in now. And that's like yes, I do enjoy it. It's like scary. Like that's what I enjoy the most. Like work. I like talking work. We live streamed Call of Duty. Like we did a Case Connect live stream of Call of Duty. We were sitting there talking about work, playing video games. That was our downtime. It was like a little Case Connect. We had a blast just talking work. We like talking about it. We enjoy it. Like this is our lives. This is what we do through and through.
I don't see that as a problem. And I'm going to step back. So I want to, one is I do agree with you. I do think the majority of people don't like seeing other people successful because it lets them know what they're not doing. And most of the time, whether that's a fitness related thing or maybe a business thing, it comes down to like actions we're not taking is why people get angry and frustrated. So I do agree with you on that. Most people, and we see it on social media, will hit you with that negativity and try and tear people down. But I know for me, I definitely have a core group of people, like you being one of them, where any level of success, like they are excited, they are happy about it. Like when you reach new levels of success, I'm super excited and super happy for you. So I think you will have a small group of people who want to see you win. You'll have the majority of people because the majority of people aren't kind of that mentality, and that's totally fine. So I do agree and disagree there. But when it comes down to that, I don't know, dude. My hobbies are the same fucking thing. I either want to learn more about something related to business, or I'm hanging out with the kid and the wife, or I'm fucking watching TV. Like I'm watching Netflix and just same thing as you because I'm kind of letting it just chill and marinate, but I'm still thinking and I'm still like going through stuff, but maybe as a less active approach. But like when I first launched Legion, and it was Sunday through Friday, nonstop work. Like my Saturdays were just vegetable mode.
Yeah.
I remember this distinctly when I first opened up Legion, and I originally would drive an hour plus from Jersey to Pennsylvania to train. And then eventually I got an apartment with some lady. So I rented a room from her. So I worked all the time. And then Saturday was my only day off. So I would, on I think Friday night, usually I would go and buy some movies from Best Buy. And then I would Saturday, I would eat fucking like pizza. It would be my cheat meal day, pizza and all sorts of stuff. And I would watch movies all day. That's all I did just to completely recharge. But I am very introverted in that sense. However, even now, like the conversations or the people that I like spending time around, like we're going to talk about something that's going to be a growth opportunity. And for me, a lot of that is activities to grow myself as a better person. Like, so how can I be like, I do enjoy conversation with people where it's how to be more present with your partner, how to be a better partner. Cause it's stuff that I do want to get better at, or some area of business or some area of finance. Like those are conversations that I can be engaged with and that I enjoy. Just so happens that like a lot of times that's going to be business related. So I'm not just going to go to like, and I won't go. If somebody's like, hey, we're going to a happy hour at 5, I'll be like, yeah, I'm not fucking going.
Yeah.
And I have no shame in that whatsoever because it's not going to personally serve me. And I am going to be selfish. I'm super selfish about what I do with my time and who I spend it with because it has a very big impact on everything. But dude, I don't know. I'm in the same boat. I'm in the fucking season of growth where I can feel also my ego rising too.
Like yesterday when they were talking about a call, like you guys have egos, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Do you think anybody on that call actually wonders like what I actually do and if I'm actually successful? They're probably like, this guy is a lunatic. Who the hell is he? What does he do? They're right on the call. Like, who let this guy in? There's no way he has any type of successful business.
Now, I do think
you want to share with everybody how I kicked off the meeting?
Well, it was funny because there was a meeting notes for shared this morning, and it was how to make money selling like feet pics on OnlyFans or something like that.
The boardroom started. Nobody knows, like some people might know some people in there. And I'm just like, hey guys, like I'm just making sure I'm in the right group. Is this the group to help monetize feet pics on OnlyFans? And like dead ass serious. And everybody, I don't think anybody laughed because they're like, what? Like, didn't know, like, this guy joking? Like, what's wrong with him?
I giggled hysterically. A little bit of laughing with you, a little bit laughing at you. You know, that whole combination.
You can't take yourself too serious, man.
Yeah, I don't think that like, I don't think that's that normal. I think it's going back to the original topic of, I've talked to people like, hey, I want to start a business. I'm like, dude, you got a great job. You got great career opportunity. You have, for the most part, some level of balance. Like, why? Like your trajectory, because I remember talking to a buddy that's in banking. I'm like, dude, and because most people don't really think super long term. I'm like, the risk to get this thing started into the unknown is high. There are 100% perks. Like, I definitely can't work in an organization just because you're
argumentative and you will get fired immediately.
I'm very argumentative and I don't like authority. So like that would be the biggest. And I also think like my ideas are great and all that stuff. So, but like for a lot of people, it's like, you know, what's the average business owner actually make? I don't know the stats. I remember years ago looking, but it's not that much money.
150.
I don't think that's the average for a business owner. I think if we could Google it, it's probably because if we like, especially in the circle that we're in, we're very skewed for the amount of success. But the majority of like small business owners,
the average small business owner's annual salary,
60 grand, 75
in Pennsylvania 100? Is $100,000.
Boom. See?
So 100 grand. So it's the equivalent of getting a good job with your degree.
Yeah. Which for some people, that's absolutely perfect. And that's awesome. You're like, great. Like, I'm not going to go to school, so I'm not going to have that debt. I'm going to open up a plumbing company or some shit and just work for myself and make 100 grand and on my own terms and all that stuff. Like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And they could do the 9 to 5, probably not 8 to 6 or whatever, and be totally content. So I do think there are a lot of opportunities and there's some great fields, but there's the likelihood of failure is also super high and you have to be okay with it. Yeah. There's been several points in my career where I'm like, fuck it, all in. This could be a magic moment or this could absolutely destroy it. So, and now I definitely think completely differently now because all my actions are how can I make sure that like my kiddos' kids are taken care of.
Yeah.
So that kind of really determines what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and how I'm going to do things. But in the past, it was just like, this sounds good. Fuck it. All in. Let's go. Like, I don't mind the risk. If it doesn't work and I lose everything, great. I have no problem starting over. I love that 0 to 1, which is super difficult.
I don't.
So actually, that's kind of a good point.
God bless you because I don't want to do it again.
Yeah, but you probably will. You're a founder, dude. Like you have that, and maybe you'll get to the next phase where you're just like, I'm just going to invest and and get in like at certain businesses. But yeah, like I don't know if I was maybe looking at like your buddy, like I would probably look at a franchise or look at buying a business that's already established. Like dude, my dad's business, I want to buy it. I would love to buy his pest control company. Just I don't have a capacity to do it right now because that's a great business. But that would be a great business for somebody like that who wants to have that. But I do also, anyway, I'm super fucking rambly today. But I do think that there is a lot of benefit for it. Yeah. So we do, maybe our brains are constantly working, and every once in a while we'll open up the laptop fucking 8 p.m. and we'll start writing or dive into ads or something like that. But every morning I get to wake, Lourdes up, get breakfast with her. If I really wanted to, and I just wasn't having a good day, like I could take the whole day off. I could take the morning off. I don't have to do those things, but I really like it. So it engages me, and I love the challenges and the opportunities and what I get to do in business. So it's really exciting. So I don't mind working all day.
Yeah.
There is a lot of freedoms though. And like, dude, Z was like giving me shit. She's like, you're a stay-at-home husband. I was like, what the fuck?
Damn right, dog.
I work from home, so it's like, and I've been able to work from home since 2015, 14 or whatever. So
it's a good feeling.
I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing. I definitely don't think it's for everybody.
No, it's not. And I even told him, I was like, there's a lot of like, he doesn't know yet. And I'm like, I get it. He's like, but, in the future, maybe you do this for 5 years and I'm like, yes, that's the goal. Right. But I'm like, but who knows? Like, first I wanted to make 100 grand, then I wanted to make 200, then I want to make $1 million, then I want to make 10 million, then I want to make 100, right? Like when does the goalpost keeps moving? And whenever you get there, it's just never what you thought it was. And when you get that you normalize this stuff, and then like you always want to reach the next level. So I guess if it's in your nature, it never stops. But I told him, I'm like, dude, it's the toughest part is like, I was talking about my neighbors across the street. Like, man, they always have like people over and partying and shit. They just go 9 to 5, clock in, go home. It's like sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. Like we're having, the pool put in and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't want to say I lost friendships, but we've grown like apart. Like I used to just like go, but I don't have time to waste. Like I used to just have time to waste and just show up at people's houses for no. Well, like all my friends growing up, like we just talk on the phone now. I used to be able to like, hey, let's go, or let's take the kids to the park, or let's go, hey, we got to shop for our girls for Christmas or something like that. Let's hit the mall, you know what I mean? Meet up, have lunch and stuff like that. Like I don't do that anymore. I don't have time to do it. It's like really tough. So it's like this kind of pulls you apart. Like when you have a job, you can turn everything off. Boom.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Some jobs.
I don't think those are everything you just said, I don't see as bad things. I don't see as losses.
Yeah.
Like I do think, especially early on, the goalpost 100% moves back. And I think there's always that tug where it's like next level. And that's, I think, normal. But I mean, the victory is the journey. It's the process. We get to do what we love to do every single fucking day.
When you're on your deathbed, what's going to matter most to you? And I've started thinking about this a lot. Will it?
Yeah. Oh, that wasn't actually, I guess that was not a question. I thought you were asking me.
No, I'm asking you. I am. But will that, like, all the money and the businesses, will make, maybe it seems like it, but would it be like, damn, I wish I had a deeper bond with my family and friends? And I don't think, like, I think like they interview people in their deathbed and they said like the one thing was like having human connection and having people that love you. And I'll go back to like the Case Connect dinner and watching all the guys and like coming and just like hug me and embrace me. I think that was more rewarding than making $1 billion. I haven't made $1 billion as FYI, so nobody please come to me for any loans. I'm not a billionaire. But like, let's say like making my first $1 million, I think that, was more rewarding was seeing their growth and seeing how far they've come. And, like Christian from where he was at till now, like, and John, being able to get, yoked from like fat with acne to like yoked to go look a nice haircut, like making a ton of money.
Skinny punk ass bitch to now.
No, he was chubby punk. He was chubby punk ass bitch. But
he was a skinny fat dude. Now he's just straight jacked.
John used to tell me like how he used to be like in his old place. He's like, there used to be shootings outside all the time. Like, And now he's in a nice place. He was like walking me through a tour of it. He's like, dude, this is awesome. Like, it's good. Like, to just seeing, like, even if it's like a small couple steps and you've made it to the next, like, that to me, seeing that, like, I had a part in changing people's lives is like the most rewarding. So it starts to make me think, like, are all the, Bentleys, Lambos, Rolls Royces, private jets, yachts, all that stuff, big houses, vacation homes, condos. Like, maybe at the end, maybe I'm going to regret not, like, but maybe the businesses serve like changing people's lives and making those connections that way. I don't know. Like, it's really got me thinking a lot. And that conversation like threw me yesterday, big time.
I think years ago, especially when I was growing at Legion initially, that's where I was. It was all about what toys can I get, how much money can I make, how much money can I let people. I wanted people to know I had money and that I was successful. And that's like, you get those, you buy that car, you get that quick dopamine hit, and then you're like, okay, you're like, what's this? So I went through that period where I was like, there has to be more to life than this. But at the same time, even while growing Legion and me liking those toys and all that shit, like seeing employees grow and creating opportunities for them, like that's the whole fucking point, or one of the reasons as to why I even did the franchise. Here was this path where people could start as a coach and then eventually be able to make a really good living doing the things that they love. So I don't necessarily think those things have to be mutually exclusive. And I don't think that being wealthy has to mean you're not present for the people that matter in your life. So when I earlier said legacy, I think, like, to me, legacy is like, I want to be proud of the things that I built.
Sure.
But I also want to make sure that I'm there for my family and my friends. Now, I don't want to have a large group of friends. I have zero fucking desire to that. So like, but I have a small group of friends that I'm pretty close with, and we talk a decent amount. And when we get together, it's fantastic. But we're probably a little bit more aligned. Like, I'm not going to be interested in basic bullshit, just like I don't think you are. However, and there are times where I have to catch myself in the moment, but I'm like, dude, like, and it's learning to appreciate the journey that I'm on, what the things that I've already done and accomplished. And it's like, I got an amazing wife, amazing kid. I got the fucking house. I got the lake views and the mountain views and everything like that. I'm living in my dream area, and I'm living life on my terms. Like, life is pretty fucking good. And if I can continue to hopefully live the right life that my children would be proud of and model, then I think that's a good legacy. Yeah. Now, as long as I can prevent myself from getting sucked in the trap where I'm like, hey, fuck you, I got to go work, then I think I'll be good. Because that's not me. But at the same time, for other people, they don't want to have kids. They just want to build. And that's totally cool. I think for us, we're building while being there. And those are the questions that we need to be asking. Right. I've definitely not done a good job in the past on it. But I think, I read when I first met Z, her dad gave me this pamphlet from like That Man Is You, which is like a men's like Catholic group. And I was like, because I was actually starting to feel guilty as I started getting back into Christianity about my love for money and growing and achievement. And there was a line in there. Now, you know the Bible more than me, because I actually think you actually read the Bible. But
read that.
There's a line in there that's like shifted it for me, where it's like the man's responsibility is to take care of his children's children. So like, that's what I think about every day when I get going, is I'm building so that on my deathbed, hopefully, one, I'll have enough money to prevent death as long as possible. And two, that like my kids are great and their kids are set up.
Yeah.
And have as much fucking privilege as humanly possible because of the things that I did, because, and that's okay. But at the same time, I hope I instill in them those, because, a lot of my activities, like I learned from my dad. Yeah. Like I learned from my dad, like he worked his ass off all the time, but he was present. He was there. Like one of my fondest memories as a kid was like being in the backyard, we were playing, and my dad came home with like, I think like some baseball hat or army helmet. So I don't have a complete, but it was amazing. He was there, especially as we were kids. He, helped us with sports, but he also worked his ass off to take care of us. So that instilled in me, like seeing that growing up, like instilled in me my work habits. I truly believe.
I'm glad you said the instill in the values, because I was definitely gonna go there. Can I get ADHD and just completely go off topic? with instilling
Yeah, switch
values,
it.
kind of. So we visited a school for Aria. They start from like pre-K and go to through high school. It's called the Baldwin School. You know what the Baldwin School is, right?
Never heard of it.
Bro, it's like all girls school, but this, when I tell you, I'm glad that we're fortunate enough to be able to send her here and hopefully she gets in. You go here, you're just like first class trip to like Harvard, Princeton, Yale, like done. So some of like the most famous people, most successful people in the world send their children here and they come from here. It's been in business since 1888. We went there on the tour because we're going to start with Aria there, pre-K, and we're going to send her and Isla there. And it's very, very expensive. And even if you have the money, it's very hard to get in. I went there and I want to give them the best opportunity. And when I saw this, it's like 17 or 18-year-old girls that give you the tour, they take you on through the campus and it's like Hogwarts and Harry Potter. The way they carried themselves, dude, and the way I thought that I was talking to like a 35-year-old CEO of a tech company, the way that they empower these girls to become like, just own it, the way they speak, the way they communicate, the way they stand up straight, the way they shake you in the hand and look you in the eye, the way they articulate their thoughts. I mean, dude, these girls are like next effing level. So like when you talk about instill values, dude, we're so fortunate that we can do something like this and put them in something like this. Dude, unbelievable the level. And like you're talking about like the elite of the elite go to this school. Dude, you come there, I wish to God I went to this school, dude. I'd be a trillionaire. Insane, like the level of wealth they're exposed to. But like, dude, they give them, it's like the way they teach them the curriculum, and then like they teach them to like think on their own and figure things out on their own, and they teach them like public speaking and how they're holding. Like, dude, I think in like 5th grade they have to give a speech to the entire school, and like they have to do like they teach them how to present and stuff. And like, dude, they make leaders and winners. This school is insane, dude. I love it. So we talk about instilling values. Like you have to do that too, and you can leave them a lot of wealth. But like, first they're around people that they are big thinkers. Like these girls go on to change the world, right? They come from this school, and you can look it up and Google it. But like, dude, I don't know why I ADHD when you talk about instilling values. It brought me back to this tour. I've been wowed ever since I left.
I would have zero desire to send my kids to that school.
Why? Unless you're schooling your kids, they're going to have to go to a school, right?
Well, so that's kind of like more towards where I'd be leaning towards is like homeschooling.
As long as he's homeschooling her, I'm cool. But there's no chance in hell that I would ever trust a child you schooling them from soup to nuts.
Well, first off, I'm like, I can't be the person. But also we'd have to get like her dad on board with like whatever the plan is. Like, so it would be mutually. But for me, it's like, I'd be interested in true levels of success and change that come from like the system. Probably what it is like I'm very anti-system.
Yeah.
And anti-establishment, and that's like the establishment.
Well,
so does it create free thinkers, or does it just create people that think the same fucking thing? And
well, no, I'd argue that it's completely different. I'd argue that the regular school system, the way private schools and Christian schools and all this stuff are set up, are exactly what you're saying, and I agree with you. But this is completely different.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think I like them either.
Yeah, no, and I don't like them.
Yeah,
this school is different. Like the way they train them, the way they teach them to think through problems, and the way they give them opportunities, and they get to choose whatever they want to do. And it's like you be yourself and flourish and go on to change the world. And it's like you learn on your own, and you learn how to solve problems, identify problems, and like the way they thought through problems. It was like they're priming them to be like CEOs and entrepreneurs and inventors and things that are like, it's not priming you just to be like, hey, be a good employee. It's completely different than the system.
So when I think of a school like that, I think of somebody that just goes on, and maybe my conception is just completely wrong, of somebody that just goes on and gets into government as a bureaucrat that's completely out of touch with everybody in society and the real world, or like people that just go and like they really don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but they have an MBA, so they think they do, but it's really trash. And it's like, so like part of me is very much, and this is, I don't know the answer to this. This is something I haven't put enough thought into or thought about. When schooling comes up, it's like, man, it's like, what is going to be the best opportunity? I actually, like, when I got kicked out of Catholic school, I think that was one of the best things that happened to me, because then when I went to public school, I really, I made some great connections. But at the same time, now I'm like, I look at what's being taught in public school and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this world?
Yeah.
So honestly, I legit don't have the right answer. It's probably something I shouldn't say right answer. I don't know.
I think everything you're looking for, what you want to do at homeschooling, is what the school does. And if you listen to it, you understand. Like, they have something called the Dream Lab, and it's like a STEM-oriented program, but they focus on different skills, but not like technical skills. It's like they like deliberately build things like how to work through problems, solve problems, creativity, and grit. Like, it's like a completely different. It's nothing like school that you would think.
Yeah.
I think if you went there with your mindset of everything you're saying, you want your homeschooling, your dream curriculum to be, I think it would be very much similar.
Maybe.
Like, I want to groom a leader.
Part of me wants to make sure that my kids have hardship.
Yeah. But this isn't that school where they just walk through. It's like, dude, you have to test in at kindergarten. Like, they don't get in until they test in. Like, they have to and dude, it's like very rigorous. Like, you can get kicked out of the school.
What
very
do you have
quickly.
to test? Dude, I would have you and I would not have been able to go to the school.
Well, we're men, of course we wouldn't. But
I forgot it's all girls.
But a school like this was all good. No, we wouldn't. I wouldn't have been able to get in. No.
I do think that both you and myself, since we do have a little bit of similar thinking, like, a lot of it has been created from the fact that traditional shit, like, we probably weren't the best at.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how I didn't get kicked out of Catholic school. Like, I remember it was like 30.
I got kicked out of public school, FYI. So I succeeded. You're a failure.
Yeah.
I got kicked out of a public school. Ridley at that. All right. So I'm an overachiever. You couldn't even get kicked out of Catholic school. Dude, I applied for Catholic school. They didn't even accept me into Catholic school. They told my parents no. They took my sister and said no.
Exactly. Like, look at this turd bucket.
All right. I was an overachiever.
No, and and that's the thing. It's like, this is where I guess I struggle with, is I want to set my children up for the most amount of success, but I don't want them to lose touch on reality. And I think that's like my responsibility as a parent, is to like make sure that, like, yeah, they have the tools, but it's, we want to make sure that everything is easy because we can, but what is it? And I don't know the answer to this, is like, what is the outcome we're going to have as they're older? Like, I want to make sure that when they're able to truly make their own decision. Like, I don't even care. Obviously, I want my children to have similar beliefs as me, but I don't. It's not how some families it's a requisite.
Sure.
Like, you have to. Like, honestly, if they don't, have any, like, if they don't want to get an entrepreneur, that's totally fine. They want to do their own thing. If they don't have the same faith beliefs as me, guess what? That's fine. But I want to create an opportunity where they can have that, where they can have those opportunities, and they're open to it. So it's interesting. I want to make sure that I take care of them and they have more success, but I don't want to make their life a layup where they don't struggle and have to learn with how to deal with adversity.
I agree with you.
I do think that's a trait that's really helped me, and maybe the school still has that. But I probably have some.
I'm like Googling all Baldwin school stuff now. I'm ready to argue with. We love arguing with each other. So, like, if it was the other way around, I'd be arguing on your point. I'm like literally.
Well, it's like I have no basis. I don't know anything about this school. The only thing that I have is some context from, like, I went to Catholic school, and then I think we had the Hun school where I was at, and then Petty school. So I kind of lumped those in there. And I don't people that have traditionally been successful have come out of there, but I don't. Also, tons of successful people, and if I think of where, like, truly revolutionary stuff has happened from, generally speaking, I don't believe it's from people that have those traditional backgrounds.
Where'd Tim Cook go to school? What's his background?
I don't know, but the question is, what's Steve Jobs' background?
What is Steve Jobs' background? He went to
him and
School
Wozniak,
of Business,
like,
Auburn.
So it was interesting because there's a cool documentary. Like, they when like computers first came out, they actually had a teacher at their, like, public school that got computers there, and they were like one of the few people, and they just became obsessed.
Yeah, because Bill Gates had, like, one of the rare schools that had access to computers, and that's why he was exposed to that. But
yeah,
I think that Steve Jobs got it by luck.
Well, I think I want to say it was very similar, because I think with Apple there was a third person, and maybe I'm actually confusing this with Microsoft. But it was like they just so happened to have it. They became obsessed with it. And
I think it is. Yeah, I think that is. Yeah. Yeah, it was Steve Jobs went to Reed College. Yeah, I think, but if you look at like, there's CEOs who make multi-million dollars a year. Like they're like CEOs that go on to change the world, right? Like you don't have to just be an entrepreneur to be successful. And I think like I would argue that Tim Cook and Steve Jobs are much more successful than we are. And are they entrepreneurs? Yeah, kind of.
100%.
Yeah, but Tim Cook's not.
100%. Yeah,
Tim Cook's not.
I don't know anything about Tim Cook except he is doing a great job, from my understanding, at Apple.
What about the Indian dude at Google? Genius. What's his name?
Killed it. Great dude. But he started from the very bottom, dude. I don't know what his background is.
Sundar Pichai or whatever his name is. Guy's he went on to say, and I saw like a YouTube thing. He said that AI is going to be more impactful or more world changing than fire and electricity were for mankind.
I don't doubt it. I mean, dude, it is. We have to embrace it. But I mean, with him, I don't know his background. Maybe it's traditional, but he also he started at the very bottom. That company there. So just as much as you have these unicorn, yes, there's plenty levels of success. You can have tons of success working in the corporate world, but also if you take a look at what those people are making, could they be making the same amount of money in a trade?
Yeah,
probably. And we so again, it's like we look at the Tim Cooks, but then out by us, out in PA, what's that gigantic fucking HVAC or garbage company? I can't remember, Dewey Pile or some shit.
Oh yeah. They're huge.
They're huge. It's like that founder.
Nobody went and got their doctorate to start a trash truck service. They just built it and it grew. And it's like
if you think about waste management, that dude, that founder who's an immigrant, has fucking he's created multiple billion-dollar companies. And if you just look at his story, but it's not so, and that's why I think this world it is so abundant. There's so much opportunity, and I do think that it starts with the values and the actions we take in the house. Doesn't necessarily matter. Yeah, and I haven't fully fleshed this out, but we want to create opportunities, but what they're going to be seeing and what they're going to be around, how we are as individuals, how we are as parents, is going to have a bigger impact overall.
Sure.
Than, hey, do I send this person? Because there's some people that, and I don't think this is you, that are going to send people to that private school, and then they're like, hey, hopefully these people will raise my kids instead of me.
No, yeah, it's not that.
That's kind of it.
But listen, I just want them to have a better opportunity. They have all of our background. Yeah. They go here, get it, and then they're exposed to people there's I think it's the L'Oreal family send their girls there. Dude, there's billionaires that are their classmates, right? Yeah. So they're exposed. They can normalize that stuff and understand this is achievable and this is normal. And hey, we're the brokies of the school, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. I want them to see that instead of see what I saw growing up. I was just I wasn't poor, but I wasn't I was rich as dude on my block. I had a 4-wheeler at 13, dog, riding that thing around. The cops used to show up at my parents' house Angelo's out there again. I'd run in the woods. They couldn't catch me. I was a baller on the block.
Well, speaking of ball on the block, I got to go to a meeting with my sales team.
God bless America. It was a good episode today. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace out, Girl Scout.